Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of KigerCraft. I'm KigerCraft here with Gearin, and today we are in the miraculous bear cave. That's right, Gearin has hired me to do a little bit of construction in his place because he is not very good with large spaces. For those of you that have been on the Michael Mines fan server, you know he can do wonderful things with small spaces, but big spaces he's not very comfortable with. So, we've got a little bit of work to do. To give the general idea, this sort of round thing in the wall right here, which is natural by the way, this is going to be the center point of the room, and we're going to be working from this point here. So we have a lot of work to do. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sectioning off the floor, because we need a uniform level to, one, work from, and two, we need to sort of have a general idea about where the floor is going to be. So that way we can start planning out, where the walls are going, what's going to do what, what's going to be where, all those sorts of things. And then he's got a zombie spawner back there that we're eventually going to turn into a fully working spawner. And there's also a skeleton spawner. Yeah, this is just going to be an item farm. Once the redstone update hits, it'll be a lot easier to do item farms. We'll also maybe do something with the slimes. Yeah, and the skeleton one is off that way. That little note right there is supposedly supposed to be like a little note to where we want things to go eventually. So yeah, so we've got a lot of work here to do. Probably just going to do a lot of marking off, a lot of demolition, lots of fun stuff. We haven't discussed the source of payment yet, but I'm sure that I'll find something that the bear has that I want very much. So we'll just have to see how it goes. All right. Oh geez, I can Doc's scribbling in her notebook right now. I can just imagine it. But anyways, moving on. So there's a lot of interesting and exciting things to talk about today. I actually hope that this doesn't run too long. But going on right now in Las Vegas is the 2013 CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show. And I'm sure that since I know some of you are on this thing called the internet, that some of you have probably heard about some of the gaming stuff that's been coming out of the show here in the last couple days. I have to admit that I'm a little bit interested in a few of those things, which I'll be getting to. Well, that was weird. Which I'll be getting to a little bit later. But first things first is I want to share with you some of the coolest things that I saw have been shown at the show already. The first thing is an e-ink watch. I know this sounds kind of silly. Let's hold off for now. I might be able to figure out something cool with it. So we'll do something with it eventually, but we'll hold off on it for now. I didn't catch that torch. So yeah, so an e-ink watch, which it's this super thin watch that's got this, pretty large display going on, and it runs on a battery for like a month. And it also has like this charging dock, and it's actually pretty cool. It's super lightweight. It's got this special battery that helps it run for a really long time, and it's super thin. Like, I know probably most of you guys are too young to remember those little elastic slap wrist things. I know Gearin and me were old enough for that stuff. But it was sort of a thing from the 80s, and it sort of stuck around through the 90s as like a novelty thing. But there are these little plastic things that you pull them taut and then slap them on your wrist, and they sort of conform, and they're like, it's like a bracelet. So it's sort of similar to that. Yeah, well, that for some reason I'm not surprised. But anyways, sounds like a bear. So yeah, so that was actually kind of cool. It's made out of bendable aluminum or steel or something like that. It's apparently it's a Kickstarter thing. Like you can donate early to get the project started, and you can receive a little bit of a discount. Unfortunately, they're going to be really expensive. They said that they were going to be retail for about $169, which seems really expensive considering the fact that it's just a cheap little screen and a little battery, and the e-ink screens consume almost no energy at all. So it's not a really impressive technical feat to make something like that. It's more of a design thing. But that's what it costs. That's what it costs. I mean, sometimes smaller companies have to charge more, and that's something that I'll be talking about a little bit later. So yeah, so I would like one, but not for $169. I'll tell you that much. Oh, okay. That was scary. I almost landed right in a huge thing of lava. Alright, I need to get back up there. Good thing I have a few ender pearls left. Made it. Alright, so, and then... oh, the big old slime down there. Let's see, item number 2. Oh, yes. A lot of you guys have heard me, I think so. I think it'll stay grass. Oh, no. This is just for now. And the only reason I'm using grass is because my shovel is silk touch on it, and I didn't realize when I grabbed it. So yeah, so a little bit of a boo-boo there. That's okay. A lot of you guys have heard me gripe about Windows 8 and how it doesn't really work on a traditional computer without touchscreen. Well, a company, I can't for the life of me, I can't remember who it was, but there's a monitor company, I think it's Asus actually, now that I think about it. They're coming out with a wireless 10-inch, or is it 12-inch? They're coming out with a wireless touchscreen monitor. It's sort of like a tablet. It looks like a tablet, and it performs like a tablet. Except it's just a wireless monitor for your PC. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty good idea. Because obviously, more and more computers are going to need to be touch enabled in the future if this horrible thing ends up lasting longer than just Windows 8. So, that might be something good. And actually, I found out, I did a little bit of digging, and it turns out that it has a Wacom digitizer in it, which is actually very good. Wacom is a producer of tablets, drawing tablets, not sort of like the iPad tablets. So they do like the Syntec and the drawing tablets that artists use, and this is sort of based on like a cheapy version of their input technology. Yes, Gearin has an Intuos, Wacom Intuos tablet, and it actually has 512 levels of pressure sensitivity. So that immediately got me excited because I was like, oh wow, a wireless and there's a wired version as well, touchscreen tablet that you could actually use as like a poor man's Syntec. That's really cool because the Syntecs are really, really expensive. Like the large one is like 24 inches and it's like $2,500. And the 12-inch one is like $1,200. They are really, really expensive, but they are drawing tablets that also double as a screen as well. If you ever watch any of the artwork from Hawken, the lead artist for Hawken has a Syntec that he uses. He has the large one, and it's beautiful. Professional artists can afford them, but you know, for your average Joe, it's sort of out of the price range. I mean, unless you're rich or something. But you know, having a sort of a small screen like that you could use in that sort of way is really cool and really exciting. So you know, I will definitely be keeping my eye on that one for sure. Let's see here. What else do I got? Oh, yes. And for those of you... Which one? Oh, that's the way up. Ooh, cool. This is going to work out perfectly. We just have a little small staircase right there. And for those of you who want to do like videos and are looking for a mic or like streaming and stuff like that, Blue, who is the actual manufacturer of the microphone that we use, is coming out with a new sort of entry-level microphone. It's a desk mic. It's sort of like the Snowball. It's not detachable from its stand, but it does have desktop recording features that they say automatically enhance your sound and like drown out noise and things like that. So it's pretty affordable at just $100, and I thought that I would let you guys know because I personally really, really like the Blue mic that we use. We have a Yeti, and a lot of people ask, and you know, sometimes the Yeti is a little bit out of the price range. Ours was, I believe, $150 or so, I believe. And it was an impulse buy, so I know I could probably get it cheaper, but I didn't. So, you know, the new Nessie is what it's called, is going to be just $99, and it'd be perfect starter mic for somebody if they were so inclined to try something that required a little bit more than just like a headset mic. Any SSIE, actually. Yeah. But you can probably just Google it. I saw the article on Engadget. That's probably where you will end up as well. So that's just a couple of the cool things that I've seen so far. And now I'm going to get on to the more gaming aspects, which you guys have probably heard quite a bit about already. At this show, there are quite a few companies that you may have heard of. One is NVIDIA, the other one is Razer, and Valve. They have all sort of announced new gaming devices, and I say that with extreme skepticism for the reasons that I'll explain for each one, because I'm going to be talking about each one of them individually, because I think that, you know, they're sort of different in a way from each other, so I can't really just lump them all into one thing. So I feel like talking about them individually and then tying them together with a theme would be a better way to do it. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is the Razer Edge. It's a tablet but it's not really a tablet. It's sort of akin to the Microsoft Surface, which is a tablet, but not really a tablet. It's like this dual tablet PC idea that Microsoft started with the Surface, and it's got some, it's got normal laptop hardware internals, but it's more of a tablet form factor. It's got a touch screen. It's got a convertible body. You can add like a what am I saying here? A keyboard. You can add a keyboard to it, and that will make it more of a traditional laptop. What was the thing? The Edge, the Razer Edge, is actually very similar to the Microsoft Surface in that regard. It's got a normal like ultra low voltage Intel processor. It's got some decent NVIDIA graphics cards, discrete, and it's supposed to be a gaming tablet / computer / home console. Now I sort of feel like this thing is not really practical. It's expensive. It's starting at $1,000, and it's got terrible battery life. It's got no accessories that come with it. So if you want to like use like a gamepad or something like that, you're gonna have to buy like this Razer stuff that's made especially for it. The laptop dock keyboard thing doesn't come with it. I mean, pretty much everything is sold separately, even for $1,000. And I sort of my issue with it is the fact that, one, I don't like the whole idea of laptop gaming. I think that in some cases, laptop gaming is perfectly fine and sometimes even needed. Like if you're a college student, you're in a dorm, you don't exactly have a ton of space and things like that. A gaming laptop would probably serve you well, but in most cases, people just seem to lock themselves into a non-upgradable platform for a super high cost, and then end up, replacing their laptop, sooner rather than later, when they could have just gotten, a decent PC box. And people go, oh, it's portable, but really, I've sold computers before to all sorts of different people. Everyone who says that they buy laptops for the portability, 9 times out of 10 leave it on a single desk, like a desktop, most of the time. And it's sort of silly. And I've told people, I'm like, you're just gonna leave this thing on your desk forever, and it's never gonna go anywhere. You're never gonna take it. And they go, oh no, I'll take it, and end up, sure enough, I was right. So that's issue one. Second issue is price. I mean, really, $1,000 for something that's non-upgradable, that if you want a decent amount of space, you're gonna have to spend even more than the base $1,000 price tag. I mean, if you have like a ton of money and you just don't care, then most certainly go for it. It would probably be a good thing. But at that price, I can't say that it would be good for anyone except for a very, very small niche crowd. Essentially rich people. Because, there are, for $1,000, you could spend a little bit more and get a gaming laptop. As much as I hate to use the term, it's true. I mean, how much of a premium do you want for, you know, the tablet touchscreen thing? I don't know. It seems like what are you doing? And you know, one of the things that I was talking about earlier, that I said I'd touch on with like the watch, is that it was so expensive for something so basic. Well, yeah, it does sound like they're trying to take advantage of people. You know, people's shiny eye factor. Just like with that Razer Blade computer, the $2,500 computer with subpar specs. But, you know, like with the watch thing that I was talking about earlier, you know, it's so expensive because it's trying to be Kickstarted right now. It's being made by a small company in, like, Wisconsin or something like that. It's some very, very small company. And, you know, they took the Kickstarter to kind of get funding for their project. So naturally, you know, I would expect their stuff to not be as cheap because they're not going to have the sort of partners to, you know, give them, items that they'll need to build their product, you know, for a good price, because they're, you know, they don't know that they're going to sell, you know, 100 million watches. You know, they don't really know anything. They don't even know if they're going to make the watch at all. So it's harder for a small business like that to get people to supply them with things at a good price because they're not ordering a massive amount. And, you know, there is no reason why in today's market, Razer can't produce something that is just as good as that, but inexpensive. And to be honest, I blame Apple. Apple's just sort of proved that people are willing to pay a lot for shinies. It's because a lot of people who are buying PCs are what I like to call non-PC users. You know, they're on this tech thing because they saw, you know, one of their friends, you know, maybe their kids has a thing. You know, they walk into a store and they're like, oh, we've got this smartphone, you know, yeah, it did, but it's sort of sad, because, you know, it's sort of like they're preying on people who are just going in and going, ooh, this is shiny. It's a gaming tablet. Oh, okay. Well, it better be good. And they're going to be disappointed because it's not going to really do, you know, what it says. So I have opinions about that, and I'm not really happy to see that sort of stuff going on. I honestly don't see why it needs to cost so much, especially with a lot of these tablet things. You know, these components aren't super expensive. I mean, they're not much more than, you know, laptop parts. And, you know, you can get laptops for like super cheap. You know, really, it's just a small screen. It's got no keyboard. And the only thing that's changed is they added a digitizer to it for touch, to enable touch, which is, to be entirely honest, cheap, like really cheap. So it's sort of frustrating when I know how much these parts cost, and yet they're charging these exorbitant amount of prices for them. It's disingenuous on their part. And it feels like they're almost taking advantage of everyone, you know, because they're trying to milk them for this stuff that's, you know, not worth a whole lot, but they're charging a whole lot for it. So I guess that's just the way things are going. But a lot of people, you know, are saying like, oh, you know, this is so cool, you know, and I'm sure this will sell. And I'm like, no, these things are not going to sell because they're too expensive. Yeah, they get it for like this status symbol, but, you know, really, I mean, just like the Razer Blade computer. Oh, economic moats. Yeah. But just like the Razer Blade computer, I don't think that they're going to sell, very many at all. So that's the Razer thing. And then there's also another similar item from, let's see here, NVIDIA. This one is a little bit more of a solid idea, I guess you could say, compared to the Razer thing. But it's got a couple flaws as well. So the code name is Project Shield. And you guys can go, Google these names, and you'll find tons and tons of tech articles about all these things that I'm talking about, because everybody's talking about them right now. But Project Shield is basically what looks like a hybrid or some sort of bastardization of a PlayStation 3 controller, an Xbox 360 controller, and a big old, ugly screen that was pasted to the back of it. It's interesting to look at. I don't really know what it would be like to hold, but that ergonomics is a minor detail. So like the last thing from Razer, this thing is supposed to be like a solution to home gaming. It's an Android-based gamepad, and it's supposedly able to run any PC game you want on Android. They had a quote-unquote demo of it playing Hawken. I missed the live stream, so I didn't get to see it. I guess I had just missed it by a couple minutes, because you guys know I really like Hawken. But, this little tiny portable gaming device, playing a big, bad game like that. So it made me sort of wonder, okay, what's going on here? This little thing, first off, Hawken is a PC game. And, how is this thing running on Android? Well, I remember that earlier I had seen NVIDIA announce what they're calling grid servers. And this is a cloud-based gaming system. So if you guys remember the OnLive and Gaikai streaming game things, it's pretty much that. It's a hardware client for NVIDIA's new platform to stream top-notch games over the internet. So pretty much what it does, you guys know how normally everything is done. You've got your computer, it's got a CPU, it's got a GPU. It crunches all the numbers for you locally and then displays it on your monitor. Well, the way that this grid thing works is these NVIDIA servers, are going to crunch all the numbers for you and then package it up all nice and neat and ship it to you over the internet. Now, that's cool, and it does work, but there is a huge but on this. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was going to talk about directly after this. It requires an extreme internet connection, and a type of internet connection that most people don't have. Also, the other flaw is that most internet in America these days is metered. So you only have, 300, 200 gigabytes of, data to use every month, whether you know it or not. Oh yeah, and don't even talk to people who are from Australia or other parts of the world where they have 20 or 30 gigs to use a month. Canadians are another. Canadian ISPs are also notorious for doing that as well. So it's like you are easily going to bump up. So that's going to increase your costs for this thing an astronomical amount. because you're sending a crap ton of data. So it's got to be fast, which is going to be expensive, and then you're going to be using up a whole lot of it, so you're probably going to get throttled by your ISP anyways. So that way it's not going to work. So it's I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's the right product for today's market. I mean, if everything was unlimited and, you know, this hardware could be done for fairly cheap, I would say that this is probably a good idea. But then again, you also run into things like with OnLive, where they just packed up shop and all of the games that you bought were like, bye-bye. And they're like, oh, sorry, it sucks to be you. You know, and that's one of the things that I don't really like about the cloud, because you could buy all these games and then poof, gone. And you have no recourse at all. So you could totally get screwed. So I'm not excited about that. And also, when they were pressed on price, they said that they will not sell it at a loss, which means they're going to make money on each unit sold. That's a huge red flag. I've been around tech enough to know that when a company says something like that, warning bells just go off in my head, meaning it's going to be freaking expensive. It's going to be really expensive. Probably to the point where it's going to turn most people off. This happened with the Microsoft Surface. They wouldn't say what it was going to cost for the longest time, and everybody started speculating that it was going to be this cheap price, and then lo and behold, the real price comes out, and ooh, everybody's like, well, I suddenly just lost interest in this because it's really expensive. Which is why, yeah, damn that Quaxum. Which is why companies do that in the first place, because they don't want to lose buzz based on the price. Because if I told you that a handheld gaming device was, you know, $8,000-$9,000, you know, you'd probably be like, oh, forget it. I'm not even going to think about it. And then, you know, they don't have a chance to sell you. You're immediately going to tune them out, and a lot of people are. But not stating the price gives them time to hook you and make you really, really want it. And then when they go, oh, by the way, it's, you know, $900, you know, people are going to be like, ooh, but it's so cool, because they've had time to think about it. It's, you know, common sales tactics. So they're probably going to try and get people attached to the device, make them really, really want it before they drop the price. So we'll probably hear about it for a couple more months before we find out how bad the sticker shock is going to be. But yeah, so that one I'm not holding my breath for, because also you're going to have, you know, I mean, who does mobile gaming? I mean, most people I know of who are older, well, besides that, I'm talking about in America, you know, it's mostly younger people. I mean, all the older people that I know don't have time for handheld gaming because, well, you know, they're like driving, you know, they're at work, or they're at home where their console or PC is. So, I mean, most of the time, you know, adults don't have time for handheld gaming, because if they're out and about, they're out and about for a reason. If they're out, you know, if they're out and about and they don't have something to do, that's a rare occurrence. And I could be wrong, and I don't mean to, you know, speak for everyone, but, you know, this is just, you know, my sort of experience with this, and with most of the people that I know and have known over the years. So, ooh, geez, hi Gravel. So, you know, really the market that is going to be attracting is younger kids, and parents are going to have to decide, you know, do I want to get my kid a Nintendo DS or this probably really expensive, NVIDIA thing. I don't think it's going to be something that a hardcore gamer is going to pick up. So that's another thing. They probably wouldn't want to admit that they're going to be competing with those things, but a lot of parents are probably going to be buying these, and they're going to see the price, and they're going to go, well, what's the difference? And, there's going to be like a bunch of techno babble and things going on. They're going to be like, it's just the same thing, handheld gaming. And they're going to get them like a Nintendo or something like that. Plus, it's got Pokemon, so that's another thing. But, yeah, so I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. It could come out like $300-400, and then, maybe. It'd be a consideration. At least it wouldn't be a flat-out no. Yeah, I saw that when I was looking down there. So many tunnels. This area is like nothing but air blocks underground. This area is huge. Thousands and thousands of torches went into lighting this place up. It was not a fun job. I remember when Gearin first came down here, I was like, what are you doing at your place? Lighting. For like weeks. But this area is mostly lit now, along with two mine shafts along with it. So a lot of stuff down here. All right, let's see. I think yes. So let's go ahead and remove this pillar here. And then the last thing is a new development in the Steambox saga. That's what I'm gonna call it, the Steambox saga. I've talked about the Steambox and what it could potentially mean for a few episodes. I think it's 2 or 3 episodes where I've talked about that. But at the show, there's a company called where is it? Hold on, XI3, who came to the show showing off a design that they make and sell for a modular mini computer. And we're talking, this thing is like really small. Like, to me, it looks like the size of maybe like a little bit larger than a softball square. So it's pretty tiny. And they have a concept known as the piston, and it's basically a Steambox. Yes, it's called the piston. So it's supposedly based on their new, more powerful setup. Oops, here, look out. There you go. That they just debuted at the show. So it's made to be fully modular. It's fully upgradable. It's a full-size PC. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll have to break things up here, and we'll probably have walkways that we'll create. But not right now. We just need to open up this area a lot, because we need to start getting a shape in here. Oh gosh, there's so much. Aw. Well, then I guess I'll just have to try extra hard then, won't I? So anyways, so the piston, yes. It's definitely an interesting idea, but like I've said with some of these other things, it suffers from price deficiencies. It's far too expensive. It is actually a full computer, which is, nice. It's modular, but I'm not really sure that that's a good thing. So, I guess it's like this idea that they broke up the motherboard into different components, and it's like Barbie's, not really. So you can buy like different boards and upgrade and side grade and do all sorts of stuff with this. So I guess, but you know, it's like, it's a good idea. Like, most of these are good ideas, but there are too many problems to make them practical. Like, the other things I've talked about, one, the XI3 box, or the piston, is far too expensive. I mean, it's $1,000, starting at $1,000. You notice this $1,000 price point? Yeah, I did too. Not exactly a very easy mark for gamers like us to hit, especially when you have competition like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 720 rumored coming out this year. So yeah, so they're definitely going to have some competition with the traditional console types, but this Xi3 at least is a full computer. You can use generic memory in it, just DDR2 I think it runs, which was a little bit weird. You can't even get DDR2 anymore. Maybe it was just a typo or I read that wrong. I thought that was very odd. The $1,000 piston version runs an AMD A5 processor with its onboard graphics chip. It's not a power horse. I really don't think that for $1,000 it has any appeal other than it's tiny. Because you could build a much, obviously a little bit bigger, but a much more powerful like shuttle PC, rather than having the Xi3 piston. And I was like, ooh, Valve, I'm disappointed. But then later on, one of the Valve engineers, I guess who's working on some of their hardware stuff, came in and said that this piston is not a Valve design, and that the Steambox, quote unquote, is going to be, I guess, from what I understand, it's going to be more of a certification, like an endorsement, rather than a actual box that comes directly from Valve. So that definitely perked up my thoughts behind how this is going to turn out in the end, because multiple companies my tech boner got reinvigorated. Multiple companies can create a sort of Steam box to sell, and it'll be engineered and optimized for running big picture and things like that. So this is not going to be the only option, and at that point I was very happy to hear that. Because the Steam box is probably one of the... Oops, there goes that one. I didn't want to break that. Oh, it came back. Lol. Well, good. How much? Let's see. What was it? F3H? No. Oh well, whatever. I don't know how much durability it has left. But either way, that made me very, very happy that they said that. He also mentioned that Valve has its own first-party hardware it's working on that includes controllers, augmented reality, and a bunch of other stuff. The sad part is, he said that they do not have any plans to announce anything in 2013. So nothing this year, which is a little disappointing. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. I guess you'll just wait and see how things go. I mean, who knows? By then, maybe. Oh, I see. Wow, that's fine. But who knows? Maybe the Steambox will become a thing in the future, and it'll pose a challenge to sort of those console-y type things, and it'll give them a good run for their money in their price point. Maybe like $300-400 for a fully capable home console that runs PC games. So it's definitely something cool that I'd like to see in the future, because having a console that has the sort of popularity that the Xbox 360 has will only help games. Even if it's not something terribly powerful, if it's popular, people are going to start writing games for PC, and that's going to improve the overall performance of PC games. So, you know, we're not going to have to deal with crappy console ports and things like that, which is a huge detriment to the quality of games that come out on PC these days. So that's my hope. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm so disappointed that they can't get these prices down, is because they need to get it down to help PC gaming as a whole. And they're not going to do it at those kind of prices. So, oh, yes. I will, absolutely. In fact, I was just getting ready to do that as I light the ceiling up here. But we got a pretty good response for Monday's episodes, the very first episode of KigerCraft Versus, and we had a lot of fun, and you guys seem to like it too. So we are going to be doing another episode, and we want some more suggestions from you guys about what you want to see. Oh, wait. Okay, I think I... Oh, yeah, that is true. A lot of people just watch this. Yes, it is good. It is very good, and you should check it out, because it was a lot of fun, and everybody who watched it said that they liked it. So, 10 out of 10 KigerCraft fans agree that KigerCraft Versus is going to be awesome, and it is something we're going to be doing regularly. So, and we need suggestions. Yes, it's a companion series. Gearin is all over it today. He is one sharp bear. Yes, and eventually we do want to have people join us, and I am going to work on getting that set up. Technically. Yeah, the bear wants you to watch it. Make the bear happy, please. For me, I beg you. Oh, jeez. So we also need suggestions on what you guys would like to see. We've got so many different things that we can do. Builds, pixel art. I'm not very good at pixel art, so I prefer not to do pixel art because I will lose. Yeah, we could do creative or survival. The survival was actually really exciting because I almost ran out of time there at the very end. So my heart was racing, and it was very exciting. It was very exciting. Yeah, so do check that out. Help us by liking the video and choosing who you think won by going down into the comments and liking. Yeah, a lot of you people didn't vote. Shame on you. But you can go in there. It's just you just gotta like one of our Kiger LP comments for either Gearin or Tiger who won. So yeah, so I think this place looks a lot better. It's a lot more open. We still need to take chunks out of there. It is big, and that needs to go back farther now that I'm looking at it. That needs to go back farther. It's not big enough yet, but we're going on quite a bit of time. Well, don't worry. I'm going to be making this smaller, and we're going to be sectioning it off. So, yes, it is long. So if you don't have any other things you want me to talk about... Oh, geez. So many that's what she says. Alright, anything else, Bear? Alright. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and me ranting and raving about technology things. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Take care.